Welcome to the Emporium. I'm going to work on a few things. These are a few things that I showed you the other day and looked like you were trying to draw them, so we'll go ahead and record them for you. First things first is what we're going to call a banded pull apart. Real simple, grab one of those lighter weight bands that I told you to buy, right? Arms are straight out, shoulder blades are back. Have somebody look at your shoulder blades as you pull it apart and make sure that those shoulder blades are back the entire time. What we don't want to do is to have this go here and then you pull, right? Called winging. You want to have them back so that you're actually feeling that movement as it should be. I like to do 15 to 20 of those as we get warmed up, get the movement right? So one shoulder is not higher than the other or lower than the other. We have that same movement back and forth here, and that'll translate onto the cord as well. Second thing I want to show you is what we're going to call a scapular pull. Then we're going to do a scapular pull to rotate. We're going to do a scapular pull to rotate and press. So I'm going to rotate this iPad just a hair there. Yeah, cool. So for here, you take two of those, find a place to anchor it, right? Not everybody has a rig, but you can find a place to anchor it around the house. And what we're looking for here is just a scapular pull, right? It's almost a face pull, right? Pulling your hands to your face, but obviously it's tougher on the other side. You really want to make sure you have somebody there to ensure that your shoulder blades are coming back equally and symmetrically, right? So I do a couple of sets of this, 10 to 15. Then I'll do a pull, and then I'll do a rotate. Now this one's a little tougher, so you might want to have to get a low weight band, and then let go. Pull, rotate, and I'd probably do 2 or 3 sets of that, right? And the last one is a pull, rotate, and then press. Come down, make sure your shoulder blade's back, rotate, let go. Pull, rotate, and press. Those three in that progression are generally pretty good to get you going at least in the right movement pattern for your shoulders and your shoulder blades. It's not really lat dominant yet. We'll talk a little bit about that when we do ring pulls and a few other things, but it'll at least get you going in the right direction. Let's talk about something without the prosthesis, right? So you take the prosthesis off, and now you got to get your ankle cuff. And what I like to do with said ankle cuff is I like to put a sock over my arm, not because it gets all sweaty, but because it gives it more room for the ankle cuff to get around that end of the arm, okay? So we've got our ankle cuff, we got it super tight, and we're going to talk about ring rows, right? Ring rows activate the lats. Let me show you my rings there. And these are the same type of rings that I had you buy through that Amazon list. This right here, if you bought the endless loops that you can get at Harbor Freight, these things, although they don't seem adjustable, they really are. What you want to do is you want to get these things to mimic what your forearm would do. And you have these snap hooks here. Snap hooks obviously go on the ankle cuff. And as you're getting into a pulling exercise, if it's too long, if it's too long and it's out here on your forearm, just tie a knot in it. Easy enough. If it's still too long, tie another knot. Not exactly rocket science or brain surgery, or rocket surgery for that matter. So to tie this to the ring, you just loop it through, you're good to go, okay? Now a ring row is what a lot of people start in a natural progression to a pull-up. And let's make sure that I got enough of me in this. Okay. And what you want to make sure that you do, again, you hear me talk a lot about making sure somebody's looking at you. Make sure that this scapula is pulled back. Similar situation here, where you take a ring row, right? And as you start to decrease that angle, pull, hold, pull, hold, pull, hold. Continue to go flatter and flatter. It's harder to keep that shoulder where it wants to, or where it needs to be. It's real easy to wing that out versus pulling it and really tying in your lat there. Ring rows. Ring rows are great. Great for shoulder health. I generally do, again, probably 2 to 3 sets of those. You can use them to actually build muscle. I use them as an accessory exercise to make sure I'm moving right. Let's see here. Last one I'm gonna show you is going to be a real simple one. And I had you buy. Actually, I'm going to show you a couple of them. I had you buy bands, these types of bands, for a couple of reasons. One, if I really want to get serious about this lat doing what it needs to do, then I'm going to isolate this side, my non-dominant side, and spend a little extra time working that throughout the range of motion, whether it's this motion here, which is what I'm going to call like a lat pull or a high pull, or if I wrap this here a little lower, then I'll continue to pull that against it. 2 more that we'll talk about today. One you don't need this for, but you can grab one of the bands, and I'd suggest finding a post that's pretty stout that you can get up against, or that you can wrap this around. This will be real simple. You just wrap it around, put elbows through each loop, and pull, right? I'd start with a lighter one and pull, and pull, and pull. You can spend a lot of time through that movement there and get some really good success building that lat, which actually it's a group of muscles that'll tie back all the way into your rib cage here. To be able to do that as you swing, as you pull, that is what's going to give you a lot of your power. Most of the time we spend working forward, so we need to make sure that we're pulling it backwards, especially on this side because it just wants to wing out all the time. Now the very last thing I'm going to show you, because you got these bands, are something we call a wall slide with your hands, right? It's very simple. I'm not going to show you against a wall. But if you imagine my elbows were against a wall and my shoulder blades are back, we go up, 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 incrementally, then I'm going to continue to come down incrementally. If you're doing this right and your shoulder blades are back, that'll start to burn at the end ranges for sure. It'll force you to understand how to bring that shoulder blade back as you're trying to jockey through there, right? So that's what I've got. Hopefully it helps. Let me know if you need anything.